What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the big thing, Capes and Cowls. It's the Friday episode, and I want to say thank you. Thank you to everybody for the really positive and kind words for these episodes. I know that you've been digging myself and Winston and Coy together. We've been enjoying being together and kind of shooting the SHIT is good for everybody, not just English people. So there is a lot. I just thought of that. I like that a lot. I'm digging that. I like that. So anyway, I'm very proud of myself. And I'm proud of you guys. I'm proud of you guys because this studio. My brother wrote me this morning. He watched the council last night. He's like, "Man, the studio looks great." And I go, "Studio would not look like this without the generosity of the fans." We put the Amazon list up there, the wish list, and we put some stuff up there. And you guys were just overwhelming in your support. There's people are still getting stuff, and we have stuff left on there, but we're about, I think, 40% right now of what I'm talking about as far as setup goes. We have so much stuff that you guys send. Like, everybody makes a comment when they come in here. They're like, the boxes are just stacked up. I'm like, what do you want? There's two of us. What do you want us to do? But Winston made the joke too. It's like when you see the wide shot, it looks really nice. If I showed you the other side, it looks like, there's going to be what's his face? What's that character Damon Wayans played in Living Color? The homeless guy. He's gonna popping out of the boxes.
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Anyway, so
I don't know if I'm supposed to talk yet.
Well, you already did, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, so we're gonna be talking about She-Hulk, obviously, episode 5. We're gonna be talking about a lot of the other casting things that are coming up. We're not too far away from Black Adam. That's right around the corner, so we'll have that. And are we ever getting Daredevil? Is the question, and the answer is yes, we are. We've seen footage already too, but people are getting impatient. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that and more. Do me a favor, though, if you haven't already done it, go on over to Apple Podcasts and Spotify and head on over there and subscribe, please. If you can do that, that would be great. We get great sponsors over here because you guys are downloading episodes, you're listening to them. It's very, very, very important. So, and if you haven't already done it, please subscribe to the channel. Help us get to 70,000 by the end of the year. That would be lovely. Thank you so much. All right, let's get into it. It's Capes and Cowls. I'm ready. Are you ready? Good. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is Capes and Cowls, and I am here with Winston A. Marshall.
Shiggity.
Coy Jandreau. Did I get it right yet?
Yeah.
I got it right? Nice.
There it is. It's 8 years of friendship.
8 years of friendship.
There it is.
Have we known each other for 8 years now?
I think so, man.
Crazy.
Like, I think AfterBuzz was 8 years.
I don't know if I met you at AfterBuzz, though. I met you the first time I had met you. I had known, because people kept telling me, they're like, it would be really good on Schmodown. I'm like, who? And they're like, Coy. And they're like, he's really good at movie fights. I'm like, it's a different animal. Like,
and I proved that immediately. I came in there and I was like, let me show you why they're different.
But I said, I like the guy's personality. I like the fact that he's going out there and he definitely is very knowledgeable. So, and then I reached out to you, and I think the first time I really ever met you,
Was it that free? Was it that free?
It was a free for all. I said, "You want to come on by?" And you're like, "I don't really know what this is, but I'll do it."
Yeah, I showed up and you gave me a number, and I was like, "I thought we were meeting." And then I walked out on stage, and I was like, "I'm number 14."
Well, it's a natural performer in you too.
Yeah, I was ready.
Go,
but was that 5 years ago then?
That was 2016.
Which part? When you managed?
But when
2017. That was 2017.
So I was there the first time, 5 years.
Yeah, about 5 years. Yeah,
that's crazy, man.
Crazy.
Yeah, in LA, that's like 90.
It's true. It's almost 6 years.
You only met in 2017?
Early 2017.
Yeah,
it was
like January, February.
Yeah.
But bitch, I met you in 26. What the hell?
2016? No, it was 2017 also.
Yeah, free for all for us, and then
you were after because you.
That's why I was confused.
It's 2017. Yeah.
It's just the 2 year blip.
I was in the old. I met you at the old Collider building.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, same. It was a free for all in that building.
Okay. Yeah.
But then the two. I think the 2 year gap really throws all of our timelines off, and how dense that year was.
It's true.
If you look at that 2017 year, what we all did, what Collider was and Schmodown, and we saw each other like 4 days a week.
I have to say, I think that it was funny because I always talk about how much I take big dumps on Collider Live and Jedi Council and everything now too. Like I hate it. It's like if I could erase things in my life, it'd be those two things.
God
right?
damn.
Oh, I hate it. I should have stayed with Schmoes and continued to. That's what I should have done. I should have stuck with it. But hindsight's 2020.
Yeah, yeah.
However, I will say this: I think that before we left that studio, That studio was awesome.
Oh, that environment.
I loved that studio. I think once we moved to the other building is really when it went downhill for me.
It was they were the same building, just different sides of it, right?
Yeah. But like the old space, like I don't know, something about it.
It was
like
something about
historic.
It was big. It was like a big room. You can usually, and then they kind of they did a great job of the way they condensed it in that space that they had. Sure. But it wasn't the same.
Yeah.
And maybe that was it too. I just like I enjoyed being in that other space, and then once because I think that's what it is. Like if I put my memories to like that space, I don't mind it.
Yeah.
I put it to the other space, and
all good memories.
I'd rather just smell farts and cars than ever go back to live that life.
And everyone that came in, like those.
I hate it. And
God damn.
People are always saying like, oh, I didn't know you hated Clara Live. I go, I hate it. I hate that show.
There was a lot of weird like aggression, man. Like it was like a lot of pockets. Like everyone was like, I'm doing my thing, and you're like, we work together.
Yeah.
Like
that was the only thing. That was the only weird vibe. Whenever I would come to like guest on something, it definitely felt like everyone was
like
world.
hiding their little, and I was like, guys, we're all going together.
Like it's like each show was like their own thing, and it wasn't. And
I remember like fighting for screenings, and I was like, I'm the one that's hosting Heroes. I need to see the hero movie. Like it was a weird,
It is,
but here we are.
It is what it is. Here
years
we are
later, together on purpose.
So let's talk about positivity, about everything. We're gonna be so positive about.
So positive, Kristian.
Let's super positive. Let's be positive, and it's time to be positive. Ladies and gentlemen, if I could find the damn thing, and I can't even find it. It's not even on here. There it is. She-Hulk. Let's do it. She-Hulk episode 6. She told you. She told you up top. It is a self-contained wedding episode, is what she says. And to my reaction was, the show's losing me, guys. It's just losing me. And I think that and what I said inside of my review, and I'll say it to you guys, is that I still think she is incredible. I think she's an amazing actress. I think that everyone in this show is doing a good job as far as performance goes. My issue with this show is that I think that it is definitely there's now an audience, like whether it's I had a great conversation with Winston's girlfriend, who first time meeting her, super lovely, Kristen, and we had a conversation about it. Buddy. And she loves the show, right? And she's not a Marvel fan. And I said that's where they succeed with this show, because they can bring in those casual viewers. But you had asked a question, like, doesn't that mean that you're going to add more fans? I don't think Kristen's going to start watching more Marvel because she's now locked into She-Hulk.
You don't think she'll try the next thing that is She-Hulk in it?
Maybe. If She-Hulk's in it, maybe.
So if they start, that's what I'm seeing is like, we're not going to lose the diehard Marvel fan.
But this tone, though, and again, I can't speak for Kristen. I've met her once, only from
sure.
but I'm just saying, I think that this tone won't be consistent throughout. This is a very specific thing that they're doing. And for me, nobody seems real anymore. And there's the most real moment in this episode for me was when Jennifer's sitting on the bench and the dude comes over and he's like, oh, I just wanted it was a romantic comedy moment, flirting with her, talking about the walnuts. And she like just responds back. And I'm like, this kind of stuff I love. This to me seems real.
Yeah.
It seems like a real conversation. And then she shows up to the thing, the girl who is another just full-on sitcom character, not real, her friend, like every other mean girl that you've seen. And she's like, why are you showing up as She-Hulk? Well, first of all, you know she's She-Hulk. You haven't talked to her in years. Call her on the phone and say, do me a favor, don't show up as She-Hulk. That's part one. Part two, if you ask me to do dishes or laundry when I'm here, I'm going to turn into the She-Hulk and throw you over the river. It's like, that is the stupidest thing. Everyone treats her like an ass the entire time, except the one dude who might be bad.
Yeah.
Everyone else is a jerk. The friends are jerks. It's like, how long do we have to? We get it. She's not super confident. We get it. It's just beating you down. It's like, it was cool for me in the first couple, but now I don't know. I'm over it.
I guess that there's two things that stick out. The first is I think if you treat it with the lens though of this is genuinely a sitcom. This is full-blown sitcom. So you're talking about the Friends pivot. This is a sitcom.
I know, but I think it was a bad choice at this point.
That's the thing. Like I said, Kristen is fully into it, and anybody, like all of the women in my life for the most part have been like, this show is incredible.
Yeah, for sure.
And they absolutely love it. And I think the only issue that you've had is by giving them this many episodes and knowing that for the people that are here just for the MCU element of it, they're like, okay, how does this connect? And the fact that we haven't done that really, truly yet, we've only had small little nuggets. But
you're losing those people. That's
the only thing that I could fully agree with you on. But as far as like the writing and what this is and everything, I completely disagree. In that I think it's
you're not disagreeing with me. Actually, you're actually agreeing with me because what I'm telling you is that it's not a poorly written show. It's what it is that it is a comedy. I think it's a bad choice. I think it's done well, but I think it's a bad choice. And I think because of that reason, you're losing that audience. Now, you can gain a new audience,
right?
But you're losing the core audience of it because and I thought the balance of the first two were done so well, and it had all of that. It had everything. It had all the stuff with her, and even the dating episode, which was fine. You know, it's the way that they kind of combined that, and the way that they added the humor with Abomination, I thought worked real well. The last two episodes, the trademark thing, Coy, and now Mr. just Immortal. A full wedding, and yeah, the divorce thing was I was tuning out. It was so not real.
That shit was hilarious.
It was so not real. It was so silly, and it was like, and then by the time they got to it, it's like, what we're gonna give you. 30 seconds of eye contact. Oh, thank you so much. What are you talking about? It was so stupid.
So my perspective, I think that this is doing something different for me. I'm not a sitcom fan. I think, for example, The Big Bang Theory is a malignant, cancerous tumor in the rectum of comic books.
That's a whole other.
But I think it's like it's negative. It's detrimental to the culture of comic books, and I think it's really bad for us because it set us back 10 years. It's the opposite of Community. Community is written by nerds for nerds about nerds. And Big Bang Theory is written punching down at nerds. I think that's a bad thing. Whereas this, I think, I don't generally watch sitcoms. I liked Friends growing up because that was what I was watching growing up. It was Thursday night. It was me and my mom. But like overall, I don't like sitcoms. What this is doing is it's having me watch a sitcom that does tie into my world. That's making me feel like it's a gateway drug. Now I get sitcoms a little more because it's playing in my sandbox with other characters. I don't like every joke. I don't think it's realistic. I definitely don't identify with a lot of these characters, but it's teaching me another language. It's teaching me the language of sitcoms in that I find it funny. And what's so tricky about it is this is one of those shows you don't have to like. And I think what's causing a lot of animosity online is when I say I like it, it's having people say I'm gaslighting or I like everything Marvel or I'm a shill. But what it is for me is it's helping me understand an entirely new type of genre because it's connecting it enough to my world. I don't think everything works.
No, you're right. Look, and the flip side goes like for me now, right? Like, so I enjoyed the first two, but because I didn't like this one, what do you hate women? Do you is it this? Oh, you don't like you? Of course you don't like it because there's not enough dude stuff. And I was like, no, wait a minute.
Yeah,
like what I'm telling you is I think that this what I also disagree with are people who go, oh, this show shouldn't be on. It sucks. No, clearly it should be because it's finding a new audience. I'm just telling you that it's losing me.
Sure.
And if that's the case, and they don't care about that, and they very well might not. They might say, look, our goal is to find more Kristens.
And that's the fear of the MCU right now for me is that you saying you don't like it is people attacking you for being misogynist.
Right.
Me saying I do like it is people attacking me for being a shill.
Right.
You can't win with Marvel fans.
You can't. Well, that's why you can't care. So I won't mention the person by name because I don't think it's fair. But like I saw someone who I respect on YouTube recently, and it was about Star Wars stuff. And the particular creator was making comments, doing their thing, and was getting, how the fandom in general could be. And they were going after this person. And they're like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I'm just going to bail for a bit. I don't want to talk about it anymore. And I wrote the person a DM and I said, listen, I've been there before.
Yeah.
I have been there before to where I'm like, I'm stepping back.
Oh, I'm close.
My thing is what you say, like, you're going to get this no matter. You're never going to appease everybody.
Right.
So you got to just say what you say.
Right.
And you got to be able to pivot away from it and really not look at it, to be honest. Because some people, look, especially like today. I read the comments, I respond to people, and what I've seen on this channel is the conversations will go. I mean, you have a couple people who throw like some barbed wire punches, but there's some people, most people, are having a conversation, and they're going back and forth, because this is the other thing I told this person. As a creator, no matter what it is, it's your store.
Yeah.
You can throw people out by the pants and have every right to do so. So I have, like, what people don't realize, if you're here, and this will happen to you, if you come in here insulting Coy and calling him names and telling him these things, I hide you from the channel and you're gone. I just do that. Now, that's not to say you can't write to Coy and say, Coy, I disagree with you and what you're saying here because I feel I'm not liking this show and I don't find the sitcoms. And you present a conversation, that is what we encourage.
Yeah, because then that's discourse and that's conversation, that's dialogue versus you monologuing and feeling entitled.
Right.
Like I'll happily have a dialogue, and especially if someone has something, I love to see a new perspective as long as it's intelligent. Like I'm happy because sometimes people can show me things I didn't see, which is why we all do this, is to see things we didn't see.
That's why we're having this conversation.
It's literally
right now.
the point.
It's why we're having this conversation right now.
But it's maddening when that gets cut off by zealousy in one direction or the other. It's maddening when it's you're so in love that you can't see any sort of critique or perspective, not even critique, perspective, or you're so angry without even watching it that you can't accept people like it.
Right. No, well, right. I mean, and even to the point where I guarantee you, because I'm the first one to be like, oh, I loved it. That they'll
come at you first.
That shill comments will come at me first.
Yes.
But like what? But again,
but I'm right behind you.
But if you listen to what I said, as a sitcom, all of that it's doing, and I agree. Like you said, I agreed with you that you have to be careful with it being the MCU. What is our through line?
It's just working for you. Yeah, it's working for you. It's that's the whole thing. Is that this is the beauty, and this is what I saw. I put my review up this morning or yesterday morning, and I saw a bunch of people who said, "I'm done. I'm not watching anymore." I love that.
Yeah.
Great. They didn't insult anybody. They didn't throw anything. They said, "I'm done anymore. It's not for me.
It's their time, and they have the right to do that."
And they also said this. They also said this. I think that I'm done with Marvel right now because Marvel hasn't been getting me lately, and I get that because, and I think what has been hurting me more so, I'm doing a rewatch of the MCU right now.
So you're comparing. You have the very fresh.
It's hard for me not to compare because we're like Iron Man 3 had humor in it, right? And that was a big thing that people were like, oh man, how silly Trevor Slattery was or whatever too. It looks like a freaking Schindler's List compared to this, as far as the tone goes.
Sure,
because it's like,
and I do miss that, dude. I'm with you. Like I was in defensive phase 4 being creative freedom. I was strongly in defensive phase 4 being directors making their own choices. But I do not think it's a coincidence phase 4 is ending early. Phase 4 was supposed to be a lot longer, and it looks like they're like, ooh, we're gonna make some changes. Phase 5, clean stuff up.
I'm wondering though if they're gonna how they're going to, because like I said, Winston's not wrong. Like there are people who really love this show, and women love this show, and it is aimed towards them. And I think that is awesome. I think that is great. I tried to tell my wife that she should watch this too. But the only problem that I have with it is that, and I think I said this last week, and I'll say it again here. So Sex and the City to me was a show in season 1 that I thought was pointed towards men and women, and men could relate because they had certain characters, that whether it was Steve or whoever, or Aiden or whoever it was, and you went through these, you felt you could relate to them, and even the stuff that was going on with some of the women that maybe you didn't relate to, they made you relate to it through some of the guys as well. And then as it got to like season 3 and 4, it became even more popular than it ever was. But it lost me because it became there was so much stuff that I couldn't relate to. And I couldn't and the show was one of the most popular shows of all time, and my wife loves it, and a lot of people love it. It just wasn't for me anymore. And I'm feeling that with this show in the last 2.
Again, I think the big danger, and this is, I don't know how you do this properly. I know how you do it once we've walked, once we've walked away from the show, like once we're done with the season and all that, you can easily go, if you're trying to make sure you're able to keep up with the MCU, here are the 4 episodes you need to watch so that things make sense. I think the one thing that they genuinely ran in trouble with, because again, with an episode order this big, you're having to fill it out. So that means you're going to have
but it's only a half an hour.
No. I understand it's a half hour, but how many episodes is it total? It's 9.
It's not that much.
No, but to that point, you have the contained story that is the through line for the MCU that needs to get told. But then the rest of it, you got to fill out the rest of those episodes. And so to that point, with Ms. Marvel, for example, only being 6, you don't really have time to go on too many tangents. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With Captain America and the Winter Soldier, you don't have time to go on too many tangents.
I hear what you're saying, but to me the difference is this: it's still consistency in tone, right? So like with Ms. Marvel, even if it was 6 to 9 episodes, the tone is still significantly different. Where
WandaVision was 9; it stayed consistent.
It did. So
right?
here's
it didn't have tangents though.
No, but here's what I was saying with Ms. Marvel, and I said this to you guys before we went on the air. Ms. Marvel to me. Was a show that I wasn't expecting. Would you say this we said this off air, right?
I think so. We had 3 starts to this conversation.
If I said it twice to you guys, I apologize, but I just want to make sure. So Ms. Marvel to me was a show that I didn't know if I was going to relate to because as I was watching it, I'm going, this looks cute, but it looks like a Scott Pilgrim type show, which they kind of abandoned that, by the way. But the Scott Pilgrim type thing that my daughter's going to like, so I want to watch it with my daughter.
Yeah.
Turns out I didn't need my daughter to watch it because what they did very well in that show was they combined the. I learned a lot about. First of all, I learned a lot about a culture that I wanted to learn about. That was never a thing. That was something that was always intriguing to me. But I learned a lot about the culture. But besides that, it was the family aspect, and that was more intriguing to me than the Marvel stuff inside of it. However, the Marvel stuff was there, and it was really relevant, and they added it into this kid and how obsessed she was with.
And by the end, they balanced it all. That last episode's a masterclass in balancing tones.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, the tone of that all together, and there was humor in it, there was comedy in it, and they seemed real.
Yeah.
And I know that the point is, like, when you see it, like, I already know there's a particular person who's going to text me and say, yeah, but that's the point. It's situational. It's supposed to change every week. I know, but that's not working for me.
Yeah, right. and you're just saying for you, which I think is very important. Which I know we've hammered home, but I also think it's really important that the MCU can flex these different style muscles, and I think it's really interesting that the thing I'm coming to is that I don't know if Kristen's going to watch Daredevil, Born Again, but she will probably watch the Avengers movie that has She-Hulk in it.
Yes.
And so what's interesting is Marvel's gotten so big, it doesn't need everyone. Like, I don't think it needs the 30% of people it's going to drop off, if it even gains 10%, because by the time you get to the next Avengers film, you're going to have 110%.
Exactly.
Because those 30% that dropped off of the show are coming back for Avengers. The 10% it adds from the show are also now coming. So I think it's like a bait. You know what I mean?
I agree with you. I think what the issue is, though, is that and because I think that is the strategy they're going with, and it makes sense, honestly. But I think that overall issue is just the fact that you have made it that everything you put out is must-watch TV because it all or movies because it's all related.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's the only issue is you've told your audience you have to watch everything.
It's just,
and that's where you get into trouble.
Yeah, and it's just tough though too. That's exactly right. And it's also tough because when you have to watch everything and you think it's all going to connect, right? Then you watch something like the trailer for Ant-Man. And now Ant-Man is always based in humor, right? There's always humor, and especially I thought the second one even got a little too shticky. But the third one looks kind of dire in points of what's going on with Kang.
Yeah.
And then and then you look at Black Panther. Black Panther 2 or Wakanda Forever and She-Hulk do not seem like they
could possibly coexist
at all. I can never imagine She-Hulk popping up in Wakanda, and if someone's got to change, you're
right,
you got to make her a little bit more real, because Tatiana Maslany certainly
Thor,
can do
right?
it.
Like that's the great example, right? Like when I look at Thor, I look at Infinity War and Endgame as Thor. That's when my headcanon is those two movies because they were the perfect blend of that Guardians of the Galaxy meet Kenneth Branagh meet a little bit of taste of Taika, but with trauma, the humor coming from the trauma. That to me is perfect. I think you can find that She-Hulk even if she was in Wakanda. I think the difficulty is going to be is as they expand this out, if people don't watch She-Hulk, them understanding even the difference that's kept.
Right.
Like,
is she going to be addressing the camera in
those
Avengers
are going to be interesting.
And those types of things too? It's like, I hope not, because I think that it works. Because what I don't want to see is a shift in like where she lives in her world. If you're loving that, it works. Right. If you start blending that into something, like if she's and I know they wouldn't do this, but if she's in the middle of a fight with in Wakanda and then she turns to the camera and addresses it. Right. In a Deadpool movie when he's doing it, it's been set up. Those are the rules.
Right.
If it's just a rule in your world and you bring it in, it might be weird.
And that's what I'm curious about with Deadpool, if it does become a rule in the X-Men world.
Right.
Well, see, that's the thing. I think it would work as long as you don't overdo it. So, like, again, I think back to Peter Parker, and I think about the fact that, like, everything that we got out of this MCU Spider-Man, how the fact that the kill mode is like, oh, and what for you? And what for, like, you're still pulling those elements as long as you don't oversaturate it, because then you still had the moments of him like, Mr. Stark, I don't want to go. So you know what I'm saying? You just have to find the balance of Chris Pratt being like, no, you will not be taking our ship today I'm going to kill you.
That's right.
Like,
and it's about balance. And
to
me,
we haven't seen her in that big world yet.
I know, but that's what I'm saying is there's not enough balance. I thought the balance was there in episodes 1 and 2. I think the balance has been lost in the last 2.
I think 2 is still my favorite episode.
Yeah, so to me 1 and 2 had a balance of, I'd say, like 60% of like the, like, because what I really enjoyed about episode 1, right? She's the conversation that she has with Bruce about the things that she goes through in her life. You could be those serious moments. She could be like, it seemed more real.
But you know what's funny though is that remember the one thing that she said to Bruce was he was like, you have to control your anger, your emotion. She's like, you don't get it. Again, as a woman, I am constantly dealing with said bullshit, and that's what we've been seeing. We've been seeing it in the dating life. We've been seeing it in like someone, like another woman being a piece of shit and trying to take her down. I know, back to back, right? Back to back episodes. So like you're seeing now these exact elements of these moments where she has to control herself.
But that's what I mean though. But it's tone. You can still personally. So you could change. You could do that and not be like, hey, like Titania is not a real.
But there's a lot of people that like that. You know what I mean? And so that's what I think is a benefit. Like I don't get them. Like I mean, I don't get the characters, not the people. People seem nice, but like I don't get the characters that are full clown shoes. But I do think there's people that want that from their TV that weren't getting that in a superhero format, and now
mostly everyone in the show clown shoes at this point.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Is that's the audience though? Like I think this is a new audience.
Well, that's what I mean though. But like that's what, and I like the whole thing with that guy, the Mr. Invincible. It's like it's just to prove that the best friend is a good lawyer too. And
this was Greg's favorite episode, and Greg it was fully invested in all these subplots. He was fully in, and I think Greg was able to help me see that this is an audience that I don't tap into.
Alba.
Oh, sorry, Greg Alba, friend of the show. Greg Alba it has a lot of insight into a lot more TV because he watches it for work. You know what I mean? Sure. So I think what he showed me was that like that subplot not only brings in a comic element, but also shows people the sitcom humor that I don't generally understand. Because there's a lot of times in the reaction you'll see me just like fully middle distance glaze over confused.
I love sitcoms, man, but it's just I don't know.
Not for you?
It's losing me.
No, I totally respect and understand that. And again, that's why I'm saying that through line thing, I think it was weird for them to sort of tease Daredevil and to not maybe go into that in the next episode.
I think there was a leak we weren't supposed to know he was in it, and they added that. They added that little button later. Because think about it. Think about how inexpensive that scene would be to shoot.
Let me bring that back to that episode. And that's the type of stuff I think that's annoying me about this show. It's not just the sitcom. It's not the sitcom tone because they did always tell you that's what the show's going to be.
Sure.
It's the idea that inside, like even Friends, which was a sitcom, they still pretended like people were real inside of this world, and like certain things when people showed up that they would react as if they were real people and everything. It does bother me that silly scene in episode 5 when, and I say as I told you guys, when She-Hulk shows up to get from the what's the guy, the designer. Okay? Now I know designers act like this. I know that they're over the top. This is literally the only She-Hulk in the world. It is the second Hulk. It is the second Hulk. And this guy's like, oh, I can't work with you. You're a moron. Then you are the worst designer in the world. But why you did that is to show once again that she's not desirable, no matter even a She-Hulk at this point from the top guy. And it's like, give it a rest. And they do it again in this. It's like, hey, can you clean up this thing? No, I'm the She-Hulk.
Okay.
He's like, no, I'm not going to clean up anything.
So I have a story for you. So I was just talking to my sister, and she was at a wedding where they were holding it at like, essentially, it was kind of sad. It was like kind of like in a mall. Sort of, they were having this wedding, and the best man and the actual groom screwed up and spilled shit all over.
Go ahead.
Spilled stuff all over their shirts, and so my sister, who was part of the bridal party, had to stop what she was doing because they went and bought new shirts, and she had to go and steam them all. What? So that's a very real.
Your sister is not She-Hulk.
No, I understand. But she is but stop it. She's a bridesmaid, and this woman. No, I understand that, and it's the same thing.
No, it is not.
Yes, it is.
They didn't shove it in her face and say, "Clean this up now."
But very clearly, the only thing that was weird for me was the bride then going, "She-Hulk's at my wedding." I'm like, "You're that drunk that you don't like." That was weird. I'll give you that.
That's what I'm saying.
And the dishes were also weird.
But it's like, look, if the situation that you gave there, your sister's being a nice person, and something happened, and she was the bridesmaid, and she wanted to help out.
You know that She-Hulk was also a bridesmaid, right? That was
but she was but they were treating her like
it was punitive, not helping.
It wasn't helping. It was like, hey, take this now because you're the schmuck that the designer wouldn't work with, and everybody needs to know you're the schmuck, and take this.
What's funny to me is okay, so I had one. I feel like we all have one big gripe. My big gripe at the end, the last 20 seconds drove me insane, and I don't know why it made me so angry.
Last 20 seconds. Oh, them prepping
the needle.
it, like, yeah.
Oh yeah, they walked by with the needle. And then they showed the needle, and then they showed the needle, and then they showed the needle. Then he walked by with 7 seconds of the broken needle. Then he put the broken needle down, picked up the new adamantium vibranium needle. I was like, we get it. And then they showed it one more time, and I was like, guys, I understand.
And it's this ominous music.
It's that Sam Raimi stuff I don't like.
Yes, and it's that ominous music at the end. Right.
You only have to show the needle once. You don't even have to, because I get that I get that the bad guy.
It wasn't enough of
that drove me nuts.
Yes, and it wasn't enough of a reveal at the end to go, oh man, what's going to happen next? I was like, okay, there's a needle. She's probably getting something. You know, we know she's okay because we saw the scene with Daredevil.
Especially with especially with no hint as to who is behind said needle.
Right.
Like let us like start to think about it for a second, because I remember, I mean, the Mephisto talk was ridiculous.
It's Mephisto with a needle. But confirmed.
But you would get random things where you're like, oh crap, is that Nightmare? Is that Mephisto? Why is Quicksilver here? You had something to go, wait. But I understand why you were upset, because I'm like, I have no idea who.
And why are you trying to make me care? And like, why did you feel? It felt like they were thinking I was dumb. Like, I don't like when an audience is disrespected. It
seems like you're coming to the dark side.
I don't disagree. I'm so tired.
I'm telling you, but you can bet that I would say that Daredevil's going to be in the next one, and I would take that bet. And if you like betting, you should go to MyBookie. I'll tell you that right now. MyBookie, ladies and gentlemen. If you didn't know, it's Winston can be happy because the Cowboys actually won a game, so good for him.
You bet your ass.
Yeah, well, your Giants won too. So how you feeling? So listen, we already know that we were to show young guns and the old guard, and nothing makes these matchups more exciting than having skin in the game at MyBookie. Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers, Mac Jones, Lamar Jackson. MyBookie has super contests. They have survivor pools and a double deposit bonus that gives you everything you need to secure the bag. Now, getting started is very simple. You sign up today and use that promo code BIGTHING, and you're going to double your first deposit instantly. Did you do this already, by the way? You use your promo code BIGTHING to you double you double your deposit. So if you're gonna, well, you know, you should never bet on the Cowboys, but if you're going to, you put a deposit. If you put $100 down,
I'm gonna do this every week.
Yes, if you put $100 down on the Cowboys, you're gonna get $200 to start with, and you double your deposit up to $1,000 with MyBookie. That's not your grandfather's bookie. This is MyBookie. Put your money where your mouth is and get rewarded for it. You begin your winning season today exclusively at MyBookie. I got somebody who reached out to me and said, hey, I used MyBookie for this week, and I put the code, and I got my deposit down, and I gave you a shout-out. Does that help? Yes, it does, because MyBookie sees that. And like I said, if you're going to put a bet down, why would you want to put, I'm just going to put $100 down. If you're going to put $100 down, why not put $200 down? So go on over to MyBookie and use that code, though. Don't forget to use the code for My Big Thing. Sure.
For My Big Thing. What's the code again?
Big Thing.
Just so it's just
Big Thing.
When there's a code area and you can put it in.
So when you go to the app, you just put Big Thing and you can double your deposit. It's pretty awesome.
It literally sounds like them sponsoring a porn channel.
You do My Big Thing. If it's My Big Thing. Yeah,
that's not the channel. You don't
that's why. That's when we get Joy Mode.
Yep.
It's the truth. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, look, I'm glad people are enjoying the show, and I'm glad that you're liking the show. And like as Coy said, and we all said beforehand too, please, and I know it's easier said than done, if somebody likes the show, let them like it. If they, you can debate with your friends, like I just did for the last half an hour, of what you didn't like about it, what you do like about it. It's fair. Don't insult people.
Also, in the broader sense, if anyone likes anything that isn't hurting you, why are you investing your time into fighting? Like, I don't understand. I'm getting very old man yells at cloud as I pass this birthday, but I don't understand how people don't quantify that time is the only thing they have. So to use that to like go at anyone over something that doesn't affect you is such a weird waste of your life. Like like we talk about stuff to see different perspectives and to like enjoy the art of it and have a conversation and to share these things with you. Like that's a conversation, but you're spending time like on Twitter in all caps yelling at a show that didn't insult your mother and you're acting like it did. And I just don't understand that. I don't want you to look back in 10 years and realize that you wasted a year of your life on Twitter. Well, like, whoever you are.
And on the flip side of that too, which I agree with everything that Coy just said, but on the flip side of that also, if people are intelligently and discussing in a good way why they didn't like the show, don't just go ahead and call them names and tell them why they hate people and why they do this. If they're saying it, look, if they are absolutely putting it down where they look like they're hating on people and being jerks to people, then yeah, you should call them out on it. But if they're talking about it, don't just assume that you know them, that you're going to say.
The parasocial relationships, the internet are fascinating. It's like if people see us for 5 hours a week on various things, they think they know our perspective, but like people don't, and then they like attack personally, and it's so fascinating.
You don't like it because of this. You don't know. I'm trying to tell you why I didn't like it, but you're going to still dive deep into it. So again, if people don't like it and they can tell the reasons why they don't, then let them not like it. If they like it and they love it and they can tell you reasons why they love it, then let them love it. Who cares?
If you spend 10 minutes a day arguing, just 10 minutes, 10 minutes is not a lot of time. If you spend 10 minutes a day, that's an hour a week if you take Sundays off. There are 52 weeks in a year. That is more than 52 hours. That is more than 2 days. That is 2 days and 4 hours of your life a year you've wasted.
Wow,
you fools.
I feel like he's memorized those numbers.
I just did math. I'm very good at math.
Sounded like he was about to be like,
Scott Steiner did math.
I love math. It's the only thing that makes sense. 1 + 1 is 2 all the time.
The only thing I will say about all of this.
Terrence Howard, new math.
Astromath. I call it Howard math.
Math, man.
Math, man. Did you please tell me you saw?
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah. What?
So people getting so upset about the Little Mermaid. There was one black dude that goes, "Oh, I'm gonna ruin every movie for you."
Dude,
and so he
so
black cast everything, including Lord of the Rings, Return of the King,
Lord of the Rings,
Return of the King, and
The entire cast is gold too. Lord of the Rings.
And instead of Aquaman, it's Aquaman, and then it's Hustle and Flowing. The theaters near you with him and Taraji, but if you're going, the only thing I will say, if you really want to be a troll like that, at least be intelligent about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't come at me with a bunch of bad grammar and ish that don't make no damn sense. At least be smart. At the very least.
Dude, I got so insulted. I got so insulted. There's this dude that was like just a troll for a year and a half. Like a full year and a half. And I muted him, and every so often someone would comment, so I'd see his trolling and I'd be like, this guy's still here. And I was like, okay, I've never engaged. It's time. Today's the day. And I like commented below so he saw it, and then I retweeted and I was like, yo, this guy, he literally deleted his entire Twitter within 5 minutes. After a year and a half, he committed 18 months to me, and I finally... Coward. I'm upset with him personally.
I'll be honest with you. I guarantee you he saw that retweet and he goes, "Quit paying attention to me." And then he printed that out.
And that's for him now.
He deleted his Twitter, and then he had a very personal moment.
Oh, yeah, no, that page is crunchy now.
But what I tried over the last couple of years, I'll tell you, is I tried the light side treatment as well, too. And it has worked more than none. And so basically what that is that if people are in there, and you've seen me do it on this channel.
Yeah.
I think that what our first, especially as East Coasters, our first like instinct is to throw it back. And I did that for a while. And I realized that you don't know what people are going through in their day and what has maybe probably, like, because you don't, like I always say, everybody has access to the internet. Mm-hmm. So think of the worst thing you've ever seen a family go through on a Netflix special, and some kid who just has a rough home life, right? And he has nowhere to take it out. So he goes on the computer, and he's pissed off, and who knows what happened to him in his life. And he goes onto the computer, and he sees you, and he doesn't agree with your take, and he just goes after you. And your first instinct is to go right back after him.
Right.
Because you don't know. The same way he doesn't know you. So I started looking at that perspective, and I have tried to give people the benefit of the doubt to where if someone comes at me like that, I try to have the conversation and say, listen, how about this? And if they go, I'm going to hold back, and I'll go, wait, I'm sorry, and look at it this way. I'm just saying this.
Yeah.
Then they come back. Now, some people are just there to whip their pricks out, and then that's it.
Yeah.
To be jerks. And then that's when you just throw them out.
Because I try to look at other tweets before I because I don't retweet someone unless their only thing is trolling. Like, I don't want my people to attack them because I'm bringing a bigger audience if I retweet. I'm sharing that. But if I look at if their whole thing is menace and they're harming other people.
I know, but even that guy, like, what's going on in that guy's life? You know what I mean?
I wish I had. You have virtue that I don't. Like, I would rather them suffer. Like, I would rather cause them harm.
Wow.
I'm gonna be honest with you. That's the blackest thing you have ever said. I'm gonna be real with you, bro. The petty is strong with this one. That was the blackest thing you have ever said.
I'll tell you the other thing too, and I don't mean to be condescending to you. You just turned. How old did you just turn?
34.
Yeah. So
no, and I like I said, you got virtue. I might get.
That's what I'm saying, man. When I was like, it'll change.
And I hope so. I look forward to being more patient. Like, I'm not. I don't think that's even petty.
That's the problem. I am doing a Benjamin Button to you because I was that person that let everything slide and was like, "Hey, we're all brothers and we good." And now I'm like, if you don't get the out my face.
It's tough. Look, we're all human beings.
Yeah.
And it is. It's that thing, and especially with the frustrating part of it is like that's why I never talk about politics like on Twitter. I never talk about politics with people in general because it just doesn't go anywhere.
Right.
It really doesn't. And what's frustrating to me is that this space, what's supposed to be movies and supposed to be fun, has unfortunately turned political.
Yeah.
And it turned political, whether it was 5-6 years ago, whenever it did, it turned political. And there's no doubt about it. And I said this on Big Thing yesterday, and I don't want to get into a full thing about it here, but just the idea of what's unfortunate for some people too, is that whether it is your brand, let's say it's your brand to hate, like that's your brand.
Sure.
And you make money off of it. No, but if you make money off it, and there's people who make
So much
thousands upon thousands of dollars because they have to do that. Now the question is, like, if let's say someone like I said, I went into She-Hulk skeptical, wound up loving the first two, I'm gonna love the show, and it turned out I don't love it too much. But I didn't hate it. I didn't have this. It wasn't my. That's not my thing.
Sure.
My question is this: let's say that there's a channel out there that like has been just hating on it, saying that it's this, saying that it's that, and they watch an episode and they love it.
No,
Right.
They can't say anything.
They can't say anything about
Right.
it. Right. And it's the same thing with, like, let's say that someone who's overly positive hates an episode.
Right.
Hates it. Can't do that. Because that's not your brand.
And I
it's
think-
different. It's better. Steph said this yesterday. It's better to be positive than negative.
100%,
of course,
because
but-
it
you
doesn't
can
rot.
pivot better.
It also
Pivot
doesn't
better.
rot at you in day-to-day life. I think being negative to that level, like, you're still saying those words for an hour. Like, that affects you as a person. Like, you still become more negative, even if it's a character. Like, it will affect you at the end of the day. What's tricky, though, is it's more profitable to be negative. Like, it's more clickbait.
right
Like,
now.
it's and that's what's interesting about, like, the culture we're in, is
and
I
there
see
are
why
people
people
though
are drawn
that
to it.
legitimately have a passion for what they're talking about,
Sure.
and they want to, and whether you agree with the way that they're doing it or not, I don't a lot of the times, but when they go out and they're doing things and they legit think they're coming from the point
Place
of view.
of, yeah.
But it does. That's why it goes back into the whole point where it does become political, because you look at a lot of things, whether it is whatever side it is, and it's so funny because people often, again, not going into politics, people also, because we are in a very left wing
We're in a bubble
place,
of sorts.
and automatically you get jumbled into that, right?
Sure.
I'm not a big, huge, like super liberal. I'm not. I am not. I am certainly not a right wing, and I'm certainly I'm in the middle. I really am. I'm in a place where I look and I like to. I would say that I'm more on, like, I'm not a like extreme left. There's no chance that I am. I know I hang out with a lot of people who are, right? But you get lumped into it no matter what. And I think people also
Your zip code equals to
no
some
matter
people.
what. And I think the same goes for people on like if you don't like something, you do get lumped into those people who
100%.
hate something, and that's not fair as well.
I'll tell you why that happens, because people love to clickbait. People love to put it all in tweets. They're not actually expressing their opinion in a thought out intellectual way, so then I can pinpoint and go, no. I said exactly what I said, and this is my point.
Right.
That's the problem.
It's being able to. It's essentially what we're talking about here, and it's being able to express yourself. And the problem, again, I've said it a million times over, is freaking social media.
Oh, dude, 100%. It's tribalism plus our TikTok attention spans plus all of our like it's all combined into this perfect storm.
Because I guarantee you, if there's no internet,
Yeah.
right, and you take some people that we're talking about, whether it's like with the hate channels, right,
Yep.
and you put them in a room, and I guarantee, even though you think right now because you've seen their videos, I would never get along with that person, you'd probably have a pretty good
Oh,
conversation.
I've been in
with this
rooms with
person.
some of these people,
you-
and they're perfectly tolerable
you
in the room.
right? Because the thing is, it's always about it's a survival thing on as far as making money for your
Right.
family, as far as making funny in general, and how you do it. Whatever niche you find, you stick to that lane.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can't get out of it.
And that's
And
actually
that's the problem with social media.
It's funny we're talking about this now. Is I'm actually trying to like make sure we.
Why are you sinking out of frame? By the way, it's like look at it. It's like,
I got so
you gave
angry.
him too nice
I
of a
know.
chair, bro.
It's,
Put him back in
I
the
know,
dining
you're
room
super
chair.
excited.
I think what's interesting is like this show is more like what I'm trying and want to do is right. This is a show of discourse. Like we all have a real conversation, and like we had that talk when the studio changed over. It was like, okay, we got to watch talking to each other and over each other, but it's also like that's what the show is a round table versus a pod show. So I think it's really interesting that like this is what I prefer more, long form, hour long. I don't love 30-second TikToks, but I have to do them for the job. But what's really interesting is like this is the only way to have discourse. You will never solve what you didn't like about something that you
Not on
liked
social media.
on Twitter.
No.
Not or on a 10-minute thing.
No, because the people become less. They don't become human.
Right.
And it's because
then
you
you're
can,
just sound bites.
No, because I could do because right now if I called Winston the most horrible name in the world,
right,
he would either be very upset or punch me in the mouth. Right. One of those two things.
Probably both.
Right. Right. But if I I would take the repercussions of that and going, well, I just called this person a name. They punched me in the face, and I have to answer for my actions, as opposed to,
right,
walk away.
Right.
I don't know how he feels.
Ramifications.
I'm gonna go play baseball.
Right.
I don't care. I'm gonna walk my
Muted.
dog. Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, you know what, buddy? You can't see their eyes.
There's no consequences.
I can't see your eyes when I say something to you.
Right. You don't feel anything.
It's a mix of not feeling anything and there being no consequences, which is also what makes you feel something. Is that when you do something, like you go and if you right now, like you said, call me that name and I hit you, or if you
Not that name, unnamed.
No.
Unnamed. I'm going to be very clear. I said
very clear.
Very clear. I said unnamed. I was thinking of Cucumber Head.
Within 5 minutes, he's like, I'm not extreme left. And if I call you the name, I'm like, what's coming out in this episode of Capes Cowls? Oh, man.
Oh, man. I was going to have to quit a job.
Hey.
It's getting real hot in this room. The studio's getting heated.
It is the idea that there has been a lack of consequences. People have been allowed to just go willy-nilly and say whatever without, like you said, without that connection with somebody that takes something away, and without the ability to face the things that you said, because then more words back at you from the internet don't mean anything.
Right. And that's why I think like She-Hulk, I mean, we've had a 10-minute conversation about this post She-Hulk, because that's how exhausting the Marvel discourse. Star Wars has been bad a little bit. Marvel's been bad.
A little bit.
She-Hulk
Star
is
Wars
accelerated.
a little bit.
I'm trying to be kind. I love Star Wars. The fandom kills me, man.
It's been better. It's been better. It's bizarre because the Marvel thing, the reason why it had this connection for a long time where there wasn't a lot, mostly everything that, minus, there was a DC pocket, and no matter what they put out,
right,
we're going to hate it. That's just part of the game. That's how it goes. But the Marvel fan base in general was connected, and they were on board for everything. Man. And now it's starting to split up a little bit over the last couple of years, and that's what happened with Star Wars. Because before Last Jedi, I remember saying this. I remember saying, because DC was the first time I had ever seen anything like that on the internet. Right? It was Man of Steel. I loved it. Mark didn't like it at all, and Mark got destroyed. Everyone loves Mark.
Yeah.
And Mark got destroyed, and I was like, "What is this weird thing? I've never seen anything like this. Is this just a DC thing?" It was foreign to me. I'd never seen it. But then,
Ellis or Riley?
Ellis.
Okay.
And I'd never seen anything like because Riley sucks. No.
Nobody likes Riley. They're like, this guy.
I just thought he was a Superman guy, so I thought he
Riley's
did like
massive
it.
super.
Yeah.
No, but Ellis didn't like it, and he got murdered for it, right? And I thought it was just a one-off thing, and I was like, okay. And it was a 2012 or whenever.
Yeah.
And I never really saw anything like that. And then things started to move. And then Marvel and DC kind of went after each other a little bit. And then people, like, if you went after DC, and I was like, oh, it's just a DC problem, right? Because I never saw it from everywhere else. And in Star Wars, I'm like, you never see this with Star Wars. I'm like, everybody loves it. It's like Force awakens, and it was like doing that part when I was doing Jedi Council was fun because everybody was like holding hands and singing and running on the rainbows, and it was the craziest time. And I said, oh, this is never going to change. And then after that movie came out, and that's when like the political thing kind of happened too. It was like, did you guys watch Sandman?
I've seen like more about how I've seen up until the restaurant.
So when he comes back to his kingdom in the beginning, and it's just like
it's just destroyed.
That's
that was Star Wars.
Yeah. It was the Star Wars land was just in his, and I was like, what is this? Is there a way to prepare it? And there was no coming back.
And right now I don't feel like we'll never be pre Endgame again.
No, because that's where we are. The world is in a place right now. It is, and that's what I'm saying. Like for people who don't realize, politics does leak in.
Mm-hmm. Well, and these things, and I didn't want to interrupt earlier, but like these things are inherently political, but that doesn't mean the discourse has to be political.
Yeah, it's always been that way.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like comics
100%.
are political, and art is political.
Well,
Star Wars, it's literally about fascism.
It is
all of this.
In the name.
Star Wars.
Wars.
Right.
A war is political.
Star Wars. I see what they did there.
Someone said that. Someone, and I will say this: someone asked, they didn't scream. They said, "Well, why are they making this about politics now?" Andor.
Yeah.
Why are they making about this about politics and this fascism? I go, because Star Wars, the Emperor was based off of not just Hitler, but regimes and fascism in general.
Those suits should look familiar,
But that-
like a
right.
lot of things.
They're called stormtroopers.
Yeah.
That's what they were called in Germany.
Yeah.
Stormtroopers.
They just like sometimes George Lucas is like copy paste, like, and that's okay
Right,
because it's an
right.
important story to tell.
But that to me is why the discourse I get the most excited about with media is about the themes and what's going on there. And it doesn't
Right.
necessarily mean that we have to go to full blown, now we're going to talk about everybody's like ideals and all that kind of stuff. But again, the reason why I like Star Wars, cool, laser swords, awesome. But it is about
political.
it is about fighting that kind of imperialism and things like that. That's the reason why I watch it over and over again, not just because of the cool special
That's why I
effects.
love Andor.
That's why I love Rogue One and
It's
Andor.
great.
Oh,
Because
they're
it
so
feels
good.
like I can connect to the war, and that's what I was always interested
It's really
in.
good. And look, I get tired a lot of times, like, because it's a matter of it's exhaustion.
Yeah.
And you can get dark circles under your eyes, but now I got a solution for that. It's geology, ladies and gentlemen. Geology. Do you know geology well?
No, but
wanna
I
learn
do. I
about
got.
Here's a
Kristen got
sponsor
me
I'm
on-
excited about.
She got me on skincare regimens now,
Dude,
baby.
Listen to
Oh,
this.
I want
Listen to
it.
this. We just Coy, you're never going to go back.
I'm so excited. I'm reading this.
It is so good. Ladies and gentlemen, Geology, we're excited to be sponsored by Geology. And I'll tell you what, and Coy's going to relate to this.
Wait.
Yes.
Is it it is geology. Okay, I thought that was geologic.
No,
There was this
no.
IC.
I'll spell it out for you. GEOLOGIE, Geology. Now,
Okay.
and what I'll tell you is for content creators, all three of us, you guys know that we work long hours, and whether it's everyday life. And for me, this product has helped me out tremendously, where I get tired with the kids and everything too, and I put some of this under my eyes when I go to sleep, and it's amazing. 50% of guys suffer from under eye issues like dark under eye circles, puffiness, tired eyes, fine lines, and wrinkles. Now, I've been using it for a little bit. It's been helping me out. Now, this is amazing. 70% off. 70% off.
What?
Yep. And you got to go to the link on the bottom there. It is GEOLOG.IE. Kristian70 is the code. I put the link in the description, and there's an iCard that will pop up right here that you guys can check it out. Now, Geology is a 9-time award-winning men's skincare company recognized in Men's Health, Esquire, and Ask Men Grooming Awards. 5,000 plus 5-star reviews. People really love it. Fight acne, reduce oiliness, prevent wrinkles, combat dark or puffy under eyes, as we talked about. Now, what's great is you just go on the link that I provided in the bottom there. You take a 30-second diagnostic quiz, and within a few clicks, you just tell them about your skin, your goals, and they have a team of dermatologists that design a regimen that is for you and is shipped directly to you, to your door. It is that simple. It's pretty great. And you can even start with a complete trial set. It's a 5-piece trial set. It's valued at like $50. So you check it out. I'm loving it. Again, it's Geology, GEOLOGIE. You should see Winston's face when
I know I'm dead serious. Like Kristen has look, black don't crack. I get that, and so Kristen has this
Winston's
very
73 years old.
Y'all don't even know. 170. That's right. That's why.
Gandalf over
That's why I keep bringing up slavery, because I was there, baby. Anyway, that took a turn.
Yeah. We
Said a name.
We've been on an edge today. On an edge.
Name.
Oh Lord. No, but real talk. So Kristen has like this full skincare routine, and I was like, man, that's wild. And she was like, Are you for real? Like, and I was like, look, again, black don't crack. I'll be fine. She's like, you think so,
Right?
But you're stressing out, and it's gonna. It will
Oh,
catch
dude,
up to
She's
you.
right.
I aged
And-
so much the pandemic.
and-
I looked at pictures before. I'm like,
Oh.
I need a skincare.
But
Absolutely.
she got me to start because like every time I've been on set, they've been like, "Oh, you have very like good natural skin," but I'm noticing slowly.
dude.
I'm
Yeah.
noticing the bags and stuff like that, and
Do
so
it.
she's gotten me to do the stuff like this. This sounds awesome. I'm definitely gonna go look
and
into
it's
this.
specifically for dudes. So please go and check it out. And for you guys out there, people asking all the time. First of all, if you've contributed to the studio at all through the wish list, thank you. If you're a patron, thank you. If you've left a comment, if you've left a like, thank you. No matter what it is that you've ever done, a super chat for SEN Live, anything, thank you. But a lot of times people go, well, how can I help the show? Well, you can also help the show by helping yourself. Just go and if you want to try this stuff, you go use that link in the description, get yourself a discount, and then tell me what you think of it. And if you like it, then they come on back. It helps the show and it helps you. That's the other thing that I've been doing. We're getting new sponsors all the time, because I made a vow in the beginning of this, and I said to myself, okay, well, we're only going to get stuff that we
actually want,
that we love.
Yeah, like we just got excited.
Like that, for sure.
Authentically.
Because that's the whole point. It's
Right.
Because they'll tell you right away, like, you don't care about this stuff.
Yeah.
If they know, like, I love this stuff. I'm getting old.
Yeah.
I like it. It's helped me out. And so that's what
I mean,
I'm
I
hoping.
noticed, man. Your bags are going
They're getting
away.
better.
Yeah.
It's because I've been using this stuff. But
need it.
and I will say this: if you guys notice, you see Hulk up there, and on the shelf in the back there, we got some stuff. And I have to say, where's Winston? That's the belt. But there we go. You can't see it up there. Yeah, it's the you take. Yeah, be careful with that one. Yeah, be careful with that one.
That's so sick.
Yeah, so that's that. Then Gentle Giant sent us a bunch of these, man. They were like, hey, listen, and they're fans of this show.
That's fantastic. These are gorgeous.
Yeah, and they reached out and they said, hey, would you guys? Because for Schmoes years ago they were on board, and I hadn't talked to them in a little bit, and they've been watching Capes and Cowls, and they said, hey, would you? They sent me this list, and I sent them a bunch. I was like, hey, I just threw a whole bunch of things at the wall. The things
Yeah,
I'd
see
like.
what sticks.
And dude, the amount of stuff that they sent me.
Dude, like
awesome
do it again.
stuff.
Incredible.
Do
I know,
it
again.
do it
right?
again.
I know, it's awesome. I'm telling you, I would like to have these entire shelves with Gentle Giant stuff. This stuff, like their stuff is so good. They have one that they didn't send.
What was it?
John Wick.
Oh,
I'm crossing my fingers.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But like it's but look, that Bruce Lee one and the Penny. I mean, it's Brett and I were in here like
this?
opening them up. That's Kanan, man. Kanan Jarrus from Rebels, and I got it. They sent me an extra one. I'm giving it to
Rebels
Freddie.
Oh, wow.
And I have a Bo-Katan that they sent me for Katie that I'm going to give her also.
that's awesome.
Oh, that story I got to tell. I've told it a few different times. So you see the cowbell up there?
Yeah.
So
Gotta have more cowbell.
But so I was on I remember what episode it was. There was some show and we were talking about the studio and someone was like, the studio looks great. But it needs more cowbell. And I said, don't tempt me. I'll put that on the Amazon list. And I put it on the list. And within 15 minutes, someone bought it. But there is stuff on the list right now. I'm trying to think of this.
It looks great, man.
Yeah, there's one more thing because we have these LED lights. Brett, we realized we gotta add another set back here because I'm a little like you look at me here. Where is it? Just a little dark right there. But we're working on it. I mean, I'm telling you. Look at that.
Look at that studio.
What this looked like before and what it looks like now.
Look at that backdrop wall. Look at the TV. I mean, this is like it was not 6 months ago that we were facing the other direction, hoping
It
for
looked
the
like a
best.
Skype call.
Yeah.
It looked like a Skype
Yeah,
call.
people were like, "Are you guys actually in the same
People
room?"
didn't even know we were here, and it drove me crazy.
I drive 48 minutes.
I know, it's
It
true.
better be.
It better
48.
be. It's true.
The way you be sitting them up days, it feel like 2 hours, bro.
Oh no,
Truth.
it does for me too.
I'm gonna try to get to a few of these. I want to try to get to a few of these stories if we can before we let you guys go. Yeah, we get you the hell out of here. Let's get not that one. There it is. Okay, so Sandman. We'll do. Let's see if there's Sandman. Starman is unhinged. She-Hulk. No, there's a lot of She-Hulk. We'll do the Sandman story, then we'll get out of here. The Sandman author Neil Gaiman explains why a potential season 2 announcement is taking so long. Now, if I was to guess, it's because someone else is going to buy it. Despite steaming, I don't think that's steaming. I think it's streaming for over a month, right? Steaming is a totally
They
different
want to make sure
conversation.
it's nicely well cooked.
Netflix has yet to reveal whether the Sandman will be returning for a second season, and Neil Gaiman has now explained why any potential announcement is taking so long. The Sandman has performed very well for Netflix, but was it a big enough hit for the streamer to renew the Neil Gaiman adaptation for a second season? We know that various other factors contribute to the decision to give one of its shows another run, the number of people who binge watch the entire season, but the longer we go without an announcement, the more worried fans get. Recently, Sandman was not listed on the upcoming fan event. This was followed by What's on Netflix.com revising its original likely prediction to give the show a 50-50 chance. So what did Neil say? Neil says, Sandman Season 1 dropped on the 5th. The data harvesting has only just finished and is complicated by a lot of people not binge watching it, but spreading it out, letting episodes sink in before watching the next. Certainly the case for me.
Yeah,
it's not a binge. I'm still on like episode 5.
I had a homie that watched it in a weekend, and I was like, I don't know how. This is very dense. Like, I like it a lot, but like, I need time.
I know.
You know?
And I'm part of the problem because I want to watch it and like commit to it, and I haven't had time to sit and watch anything. Like I haven't sat and watched a show that I want to give it my attention to.
So I think this show will get picked up. I don't know whether it's Netflix. If it doesn't get picked up by Netflix, someone else will get it. It's got because it has an audience.
Huge.
It has an audience.
Number 1 5 weeks worldwide.
That's what I mean. It's got
Huge.
an audience. It'd be stupid for them to let it go. But if it's expensive for them and they're cutting stuff left and right, then I would understand if Netflix cut it. But someone will get it.
Discovery.
But what I'm telling you, go back. They got to get rid of binging. Netflix has to get rid of binging.
It has to go.
Well, it sounds like they are, though. There was a news report that just came out recently that they are hardcore re-looking at that model, and
It doesn't work.
because they're realizing that it has been hurting them too much.
Majorly. Then you look at like Cobra Kai.
Not in the conversation now.
It was in the conversation for 4 days.
Yep.
And like
that's the time it took people to watch 9 episodes.
So my podcast guy who I talked to all the time, I told him I had all these interviews. He's like, well, you should do them like the first like week and then don't do any more Cobra Kai interviews or anything. So I'm like, well, I want to talk to I'm talking to Sholo about coming in.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, but nobody's talking about Cobra Kai at that point. I'm like, that sucks because like everybody should be like, if they imagine right now if we had on Game of Thrones, Andor, Lord of the Rings, She-Hulk, and Cobra Kai.
Good God.
All weekly.
Yeah.
You know, like, and if Sandman was weekly,
huge.
way
And
better.
And that's more of the show's digestion rate.
Yeah.
Because the other thing about it too is nobody likes to be late on stuff either.
So then just don't.
So there's a
Right.
point where it's like, I missed
give
that
up.
window and I don't.
I haven't. Cobra Kai is one of my favorite shows on TV. Hard stop. And there's 100 shows on TV. I have not started Cobra Kai because I didn't watch it the first 2 days. So now I'm like, I got time.
And there's other things you have to cover right now.
I'm working.
Right.
So like Cobra Kai
And that-
gets pushed to the back burner.
And that hurts them in the long run because of the media aspect of it, right? So like, you know, when it comes to like I always bring my friend up, like John Pinto. If John Pinto's a Cobra Kai fan, he can watch it whenever. He doesn't care.
Right.
But if I need Jandreau to watch it because I need him to cover it as a creator, it's over because he's covering other stuff weekly right now.
And you don't get that coverage from a different
Yeah.
perspective.
House of the Dragon, if that was a binge, I would be so upset because of the idea of like the idea of sitting there and going, oh no, what's gonna happen next?
And the politics is fun to discuss week to week. Like the
yes.
chess pieces, like Sandman.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I haven't seen it, but I've read it. So like,
and
that's chess pieces.
Yeah, Netflix did that though when they were the only game in town. I think it's time. I think it's time
to switch.
Yeah.
It's time to go back. It's time to go back.
Stranger Things would have been way more than that 2 bundles.
Oh, easy.
Yeah.
That would have been
You were
huge.
gonna say
No,
that.
no, no, no. You were talking about Sandman. I mean, just in the vein of Capes and Cowls, man. How far are you?
5 or 6 episodes.
Okay, so you saw the Satan fight,
Yes.
which I thought was brilliant.
Yes.
And then did you see the restaurant? The one where he has the ruby in the restaurant and like all the different people? Because that episode is insane.
I think so. I gotta go back.
I won't spoil it for
That's
you.
my problem. Is I forgot that I watched them all boom boom boom, and then I was like, oh yeah, there's other stuff I got to cover, and I let it. I got to rewatch. I loved it. I loved it. All right. Anyway, listen. What a show today it was. So it was She-Hulk and other things, life, and we hope that you guys enjoyed the conversation. Once again, be part of the conversation. We'd love for you to be part of the conversation. Go ahead and comment below. We're gonna have a full on. As I said beforehand, I don't need you to agree with us. I mean, if you want to agree with me in this one, great. You want to disagree with me, just as good. You want to agree with Coy, disagree with Coy and Winston, go ahead. But be respectful about it. That's all we're asking for.
That's it.
Show a little. Thank you guys once again. And if you're brand new to the channel, you should go ahead and subscribe. Get us to 70K if you haven't done that already. Check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere podcasts are found. Please do that. Thank you to Winston. Thank you to Coy. We appreciate you guys. And again, if you want to check out the Amazon list, it is there. You can check it out. If not, a like and a comment. We do have the Patreon up. Patreon's been I'm putting on my full unedited watch-alongs with Andor up on Patreon, by the way. That's for the $5 and up patrons. So we've got a lot of stuff on Patreon also. All right, you guys rule. We'll see you on the flip side. Peace.